How much did you spend on fast food and snacking last year? When I checked my revenue, it was over 6,000 for me. And in the 6,000 we have the occasional McDonald's or Burger King, but the majority of this spend went on healthy food. I've always been skeptical about how healthy this food actually was. You know, your protein snacks, your low fat options, your low calorie options when you go to restaurants. And the reason why I'm skeptical is because I train hard across running and weightlifting. But still, when I was on this diet, you know, having healthy snacks or healthy alternatives, I always struggled to lose weight. So with all this said, I wanted to try something different this year and challenge myself. So over the last 30 days, I've cut out all these ultra processed foods and takeaways and any sort of convenience food from my diet. So no eating out, no takeaways, no processed snacks, no refined carbs, no even buying takeaway coffee from the shop. I wanted to challenge myself to stick to a whole food diet, or as whole food as possible, and only consume food and beverages that I prepare myself at home. And the reason for this is threefold. Reason one is to test my discipline and self-control when it comes to food. Reason two is to see how much money I can save over these 30 days compared to what I spent on average last year on eating out and convenience food. And reason three is to see what impact this has on my health, my weight, my energy levels and sports performance as well. So over the past 4 weeks, my diet has consisted of 2,500 calories per day of meat, veg, brown carbs, fruit and yogurt, and more or less that's it. All the meals that I consumed I've bought from the supermarket and prepared myself at home. When my family had McDonald's, I had homemade chicken wraps. When my family went out for meals, I had a packed lunch. And over the past 30 days, I stuck to this whole food diet without craving in, and in this video I'm going to share how I felt, what has helped and what I'm going to do afterwards. And I'm going to start off and I'm going to break it down on the first week. So when I started this diet, it was around a Thursday or Friday. It was a Thursday when I started, and the first few days, the first week was amazing. You know, when I started flipping the diet over to be more healthy and wholesome, craving stopped. I didn't feel hungry, you know, always felt full. Energy levels through the roof, sleeping better, feeling better, everything was just better. And when I weighed myself after week one, I lost just under a kilo as well, which was, I haven't done that in ages. And I think what made this transition a lot easier was just having meals prepared. Anytime I was hungry, there was always something there to eat, whether that be, you know, chicken wraps, beef baps or yogurt or whatever it may be. There was always something. And then week two was a whole lot harder. It was the first time when the cravings really kind of kicked in, you know, wanting chocolate, wanting fast food. And there was a few difficult moments. Like I remember when the girls went and got McDonald's, you know, you could smell it in the car. And it's just, I wanted it then. But I just had to think to myself, one, I'm in the challenge so I can't crave in. But the reason I'm doing this challenge is for the long term gain of, you know, feeling better, not feeling sluggish after this food. And then obviously weight loss too, and seeing how much money I could save. And then another thing I learned from this experience of, you know, dealing with the cravings was being able to tell the difference when, you know, my body wanted food and needing food. So it's just being more aware of that, and when I was able to distinguish when I needed food to when I didn't. And this really helped me kind of avoid any cravings and think, right, okay, you're going to have a proper meal in 1 or 2 hours, can you not just wait? And to be honest with you, that's something that I always struggled with previously. You know, when you just get them cravings, say for a chocolate bar or a packet of crisps, you know, you're just at that tunnel vision that you want that, nothing is going to stop you. You need it now, and then the diet can wait till tomorrow. Whereas though, that changed in the last 30 days. I'm just surprised at how easy it was to do. And when I battled through the cravings and, you know, waited out to have something proper, you know, it felt great. One, because you're having proper food, but two, because it's that mental victory, you know, that you actually bet that craving. You didn't give in, you pushed on through. And I know it's only a small little thing, but it's still self-discipline, self-mastery nonetheless. And just being able to, you know, control one's temptations is not only good for just controlling our relationship with food, but so many other things in life. And then coming into week 3 and week 4, I mean, it was just like clockwork at this stage. I learned how to deal with the cravings. My meals were like clockwork. When I went to the grocery store, I had all the meals planned. You know, I was in and out in 30 minutes. So now that we went through kind of how I felt during, say, week 1 to week 4, let's talk about the results. So let's start off with sports performance. As I said before, it went through the roof. In terms of a high rock simulation, I achieved a PB of 52 minutes in a high rocks doubles, where it was like an hour beforehand. The second thing, when it came to running, I was running about 340km splits even with ease when I done my interval sessions. And when I done that before, I really had to push myself, I was struggling. Whereas now with this diet, I was doing it with ease. In terms of the financials, I saved on average about 100 quid per week. I was going into Dunn's, spending 80-90 euro on my shopping, and that was the equivalent of about 16-17 meals I was getting. Whereas though if I spent that in a restaurant, you're probably getting about 3 meals for that price, and not as half as good food. And in terms of weight loss, the weight absolutely fell off me. So when I started the challenge around the 11th or 12th of January, I was 77 kilo. When I wrapped up on the 11th of February, I was under 74 kilo. And that's without starving myself, that's without losing any strength, and that's without feeling trained. I actually think I was taking in more calories than I did eating the whole food than I did previously eating kind of sporadically. So let's talk about what I've learned from this challenge. One, the first point is essentially the quality difference in whole food versus ultra processed food or pre-made meals. And it's night and day. And there's a reason why whole food is a bit more expensive than kind of a pre-made meals. One, is because it actually does the job. It fills us. And it's not stripped of all its nutritional value. So when I done this challenge, I done a bit of research around the food that I was eating too, and kind of our habits around food and our relationship with food. And what I found out was how much nutrition is stripped from white carbs, refined carbs, white pasta, white rice, white bread. It's stripped of its fibre and most of its nutrients. Whereas though with brown carbs, your brown pasta, brown bread, and so on and so forth, that contains its natural fibre. And the thing as well about ultra processed foods or refined carbs or wherever it may be, is that they're full of sugars, salts and MSGs. And what these do is, one, they make us crave more of that particular food. And it's a market ploy as well. A business wants us eating that food and then buying some more, because essentially it feeds their profit margin. And the amount of sugar or fake sweeteners in the protein snacks that we have, the protein bars, protein milk or whatever, is astounding. And the next thing I learned from this is really kind of around discipline and self-control, and really improving my relationship with food. So knowing exactly when I'm craving something as opposed to needing something, and dealing with that, knowing exactly how to get my habits in check to make healthy eating easier. And then just avoiding any kind of temptations as they come. So not going to a candy shop because I'm not going to buy candy, or not going to a restaurant because I don't want to buy something in a restaurant, just relieving myself of any of them temptations. And another thing I learned from this challenge is to be self-sufficient. And we have it so easy when it comes to food. We can order anything we want at our fingertips, whether it be Just Eat, Deliveroo, going out for food. Well, you fell there. But how much money do we waste when we do that? When we can just make as good as, or if not better, food at home. And that's one thing I learned from this challenge. It's just being able to cook proper meals in the most efficient way possible. And when I say this, it's one, having the food prepared, so chopping up vegetables when I get them as well. So when it comes to meal time, it's just taking them out of a lunch container, making it as easy as possible to clean up afterwards as well, cleaning as I go. And as embarrassed as it is to say, these are skills that I never really had before, because I never really had to. And then the final thing I learned from this is how much money I can actually save from staying on a whole food diet. So on average, we saved about 100 quid per week. That's over 5 grand per year. That's a holiday, maybe 2 holidays, Christmas boxed off. It's a lot of money. And then on to the final question, which you're probably asking, is what am I going to do after this challenge? Well, to be quite honest, I'm going to continue on. I don't see any reason not to. Honestly, I feel better on myself, healthier, fitter, stronger, more energy. The cravings are gone. I don't want to go back to eating rubbish food. I don't want to eat in restaurants. I'd rather make my own food, because one, it's more satisfying. I know exactly what the ingredients are going into that. and overall I just feel better after it. So I'm going to see how long I can stick this out for. Now I'm on holiday this week, so it's going to be harder when I'm away, but I'll try to do it anyway. And then when I come back, full tilt again, whole food only, no takeaways, no rubbish snacks, no eating out, and let's see how we get on.